Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvijakacharya Asto Tarasata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvijakacharya Asto Tarasata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Sri Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prayam Sikao Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shaima Kunna Radha Kungiri Govardhan Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON Mayapur Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaur Premanande All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. Today's class in the beautiful Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 39. Sarge tapo ṛṣayo nava ye prajeśāḥ sthāne dharma-makha-manv-amarāvanīśāḥ ante dharma-hara-manyu-vaśāsurādyā māyā-vibhūtaya imāḥ puru-śakti-bhājaḥ sarge tapo ṛṣayo nava prajeśāḥ sthāne dharma-makha-manv-amarāvanīśāḥ ante dharma-hara-manyu-vaśāsurādyā māyā-vibhūtaya imāḥ puru-śakti-bhājaḥ sarge tapo ṛṣayo nava prajeśāḥ sthāne dharma-makha-manv-amarāvanīśāḥ ante dharma-hara-manyu-vaśāsurādyā māyā-vibhūtaya imāḥ puru-śakti-bhājaḥ Others? Sarge. In the beginning of creation. Tapaḥ, penance. Aham, myself. ṛṣayaḥ, sages. Nava, 9. Yea, prajeśāḥ, those who would generate. Sthāne, in the middle while maintaining the creation. Atha, certainly. Dharma, religion. Makha, Lord Viṣṇu. Manu, the father of mankind. Amara, the demigods deputed to control the affairs of maintenance. Avanīśāḥ, and the kings of different planets. Ante, at the end. Tu, but. Adharma, irreligion. Hara, Lord Śiva. Manyu-vaśa, subjected to anger. Asura-ādyāḥ, atheists, the enemies of the devotees. Māyā, energy. Vibhūtaya, powerful representatives. Imāḥ, all of them. Puru-śakti-bhājaḥ, of the supreme powerful Lord. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. At the beginning of creation, there are at the beginning of creation, there are penance, myself, Brahma, and the Prajapatis, the great sages who generate. Then, during the maintenance of the creation, there is Lord Viṣṇu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion, and then Lord Śiva, and the atheist, full of anger, etc. All of them are different representative manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord. So I'll say and you can repeat, and then I'll do the purport. At the beginning of creation, there are penance. Myself, Brahmanji, and the Prajapatis, the great sages, who generate. Then, during the maintenance of creation, there are Lord Viṣṇu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion, and then Lord Śiva, and the atheists, full of anger, etc. All of them are different representative manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord. Purport. The material world is created by the energy of the Lord, which is manifested in the beginning of the creation by the penance of Brahmaji, the first living being in the creation. And then there are 9 Prajapatis, known as great sages. In the stage when the creation is maintained, there are devotional service to Lord Viṣṇu, or factual religion. The different demigods and the kings of different planets who maintain the world. At last, when the creation is preparing to wind up, there is first the principle of irreligion, then Lord Śiva, along with the atheists, full of anger. But all of them are but different manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Brahma, Viṣṇu, and Mahadev, Śiva, are different incarnations of the different modes of material nature. Viṣṇu is the Lord of the mode of goodness. Brahma is the Lord of the mode of passion. And Śiva is the Lord of the mode of ignorance. Ultimately, the material creation is but a temporary manifestation meant to give the chance of the meant to give a chance of liberation to the conditioned souls who are entrapped in the material world. And one who develops the mode of goodness under the protection of Lord Viṣṇu has the greatest chance of being liberated by following the Vaishnava principles and thus being promoted to the kingdom of God, no more to return to this miserable material world. Om Agyantamarindasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakata Mayam Dadanti Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopeka Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radha Brindavaneshwari Brisha Banustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripasindhubhevcha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So this is a description of how the world began, the middle part, and the end. That's kind of where we are right now, isn't it? So this is like the final act. You know, if this was a play and there's Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, well, here we are, we're in the Act 3. This is the wrap-up stage. So this is the Kali Yuga. So this is an interesting description. Kali Yuga, when we listen to the description, it sounds like a very unfortunate time to live, doesn't it? Because there's so much hypocrisy, confusion. There's confusion everywhere. And something that's mentioned in the verse that struck me, that I've thought about off and on lately, is anger. This world is full of anger. Well, there are angry people everywhere. And these angry people are trying to stir up your anger. Why aren't you angry about this? You know, you're kind of going through life. You're trying to raise your families, go through your profession, and someone is pointing out some political situation. How come you're not angry about what these people are doing? You should be angry. So this angry person is getting you angry. You should be angry too. And then tell your neighbors, let's all get angry because I have a special interest. And I want everyone to look at my special interest. And let's all be angry about it. So we have so many different special interests across our planet. There's so many people working for this cause, and there are people working for that cause. Even within our own movement, we see devotees that start their own causes. Why, we should do this with Srila Prabhupada's books. Why, we should take off our clothing and put on street clothing, dress like the Westerners. We should do this. We should do causes that have nothing to do with spreading Lord Chaitanya's movement. These are individual self-interests, you see? So, but what's wrong with self-interest, right? All of our lives, most of us in the material world, we've been told, you need to look out for yourself. Your interests are important. If you don't look out for your interest, who will? Who's taking care of you? So this is the theme. I remember being told again and again when I was growing up, you've got to take care of yourself. So we're taught all through childhood to develop self-interest. Because if you don't, who's gonna be interested in you? And so this is the nature of the material world, and it's also part of the reason, a major part of the reason, why there's so much anger. If I have my interest and you have your interest, and then over there they have their interest, and then those in the back of the room, they have their interest, what do we have? We have disharmony, lack of harmony. That seems to be the opposite of the spiritual world. The opposite of the spiritual world is commonly referred to as the material world. So the spiritual nature is that of harmony. Harmony. Why? Because Krishna and his pleasure are the interest. Period. There's no self-interest. The self that we're trying to please is Krishna. And because you want to please Krishna and I want to please Krishna, they want to please Krishna and they want to please Krishna, now we have all of this harmony. It's like if you have, sometimes in big cities, they will have a big orchestra, you know. I know in Dallas they have the Philharmonic Orchestra, in Chicago and probably Calcutta and everywhere. They have a big orchestra. So if you've ever seen one of these orchestras, it's like 70, 80 people, and they all play together and they produce music. No, it's not maybe our kind of music, but it's still music. Well, it's 70 people and they're producing one common product, a harmonious sound, because they're all trying to do the same thing. However, each and every one of them is playing a different instrument. Each and every one of them has an entirely different service to perform to make this product, the music, manifest. If you take just one section or one person, you may hear a boom, 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 or a toot, 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 or a ding, ding, ding. You see, they're all different, aren't they? But they're all working for the same cause. So you put them all together and you say, wow, that's beautiful. And you, bravo, bravo, that was beautiful. Why was it beautiful? Because they're working together as a team, you see. So this is the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, all of us are entirely unique. Why, there's no two of us, jivas, that are the same. We may be very similar in many ways, but we're entirely unique. Each and every one of us makes a very unique contribution to Krishna's pleasure. That's what we do as functioning living entities. That is our reason for existence. So you can see our Krishna conscious philosophy not only can explain how you exist, but why you exist. Why people, all of my life I've heard artistic people, writers, people that write books and movies, and they're wondering, why? Why do I exist? The answer is, you exist to enhance the ecstasy of the source of ecstasy. Krishna is the source of everything. He's the complete whole. He doesn't need us, but he wants us because we enhance his ecstasy. How do we do that? Because we can have an exchange, a loving exchange. You see? Some people would say, well, God doesn't need us to have loving exchange. Well, he thinks he does. And he's generally right. He feels that he does. I need you because I need someone to demonstrate my ocean of mercy to. I need someone to share my unlimited love. I want you, all of you unlimited living entities, to taste my unlimited love. What is that, Bhakta Vatsal? Is that it? Krishna wants to demonstrate. He wants to share his love with you. He wants to reciprocate. And we are engineered in such a way that we get great ecstasy when we enhance his ecstasy. That's how we enjoy to the fullest, you see. That gives us great pleasure to demonstrate to Krishna how much we love him in an unlimited way. Well, there are no limits on the living entity. After all, you're part and parcel of Krishna, right? Krishna's unlimited, yes? So then you are unlimited. You're unlimited in your ability to perform your function. Your function is to serve with loving devotion the source of love and devotion. That's what you do. And you're empowered to do that. Well, we have to be empowered. How can we, just us, how can we give ecstasy or pleasure even to the source of pleasure? We have to be empowered to do so. So Krishna, you have that desire that I want to show you how much I love you, Krishna. I want to enhance your ecstasy. So Krishna says, I feel some sincerity there. Here is your empowerment to do that. Why, Krishna, I want to play the mridanga for you. Oh, then here is your empowerment to do that. Now, if you think, thank you, Krishna, I don't need your empowerment. I'm pretty good at this myself. Well, now you're in difficulty. You're in great difficulty. So you're not thinking spiritually. You may be thinking of God, recognizing they're a God, but you're declaring some independence. Now that's a big, big problem that we all, in this material world, we share that. That's a really big problem. We are dependent on the source. We have to understand that. How could we not be? It's like the sunlight is dependent on the sun. The sunlight is part and parcel of the sun. If the sun stopped sourcing the sunlight would be gone. Same with us. We are part and parcel. God, Krishna, is our source. You see? We have some minute independence, but it's basically just a concept of independence. How can we be fully independent of the source? I kind of don't like using that term because the New Agers like to they speak of the source. Sometimes they call Krishna source. That's true, but it's a little impersonal. That's like me calling you person. But you have a name. You have a personality, you see. God has unlimited names. I mean, you can call him source. That's not very loving or friendly, is it? Hey, person. Hey, yo. But I have a name. Yeah, whatever. You're still a person. You're just a person. You see? So, but Krishna is the source. So how can we be independent? But we're giving some minute conception of being independent. And therefore, why, you may say, why? We're not really independent. Why does Krishna give us this? So that we're not some robot. Why? Krishna's not cheap. One thing Krishna isn't is he's not cheap. If he's going to have love, it's got to be deep, genuine love. That means that you, the giver of love, have to have a choice to give it or to not. I choose to love you. No, I choose not to. You see? So you have to, otherwise you're just like a computer program. You see? You're like a robot. So you have to have that minute concept of independence so that you can use it if you choose. If you're crazy in love with Krishna, you would never think of being independent. How often do the gopis think that they are or want to be independent from Krishna? Why, it's not in keeping with being a devotee to consider oneself independent from Krishna. Is it? So we may think, we're allowed to think that we're independent, and we make that choice. Krishna, okay, I have some independence, but I choose you because I want you. So that's very loving. So even though we're parts and parcels, we have to be able to make a mistake. We're completely perfect. Krishna is the complete whole, and he's perfect. Everything that emanates from the complete whole is also complete and perfect. That would be us. However, we have to be able to make a mistake. Otherwise, we're just a computer program. And it diminishes our ability to have personal dealings with the Lord. We have to be able to make a mistake because we made a really big mistake. We came here, didn't we? We left the spiritual world and we came here. And now we're wandering around in the material world. And we're exercising our independence. That's what we wanted to do. Krishna, thank you for all this that you've given me. Here I am in this spiritual world. It's very beautiful. It's never too hot. It's never too cold. It's always very nice. And Krishna, you're so beautiful and you're so wonderful and you've always taken great care of me. However, I think I can do it on my own. And I choose to try. You see? I choose to give it a shot. So, well, we can't do that in Vaikuntha. Goloka Vrindavan. We can't do that, you see. We want to be the center of attention. I see everyone oohing and awing over Krishna. Everyone's talking about Krishna. Everywhere you go, it's Krishna here, Krishna there, Krishna, 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 Krishna. What about me? How come nobody notices me? Why, I'm part and parcel of Krishna. I'm beautiful too. Okay, so you may say that I'm not as beautiful as Krishna. I'm not as vast as Krishna. But, you know, just once, can't I be the center of attention? Why is it always him? You see, it's like we've got this beautiful group of beautiful devotees. If I take a picture of the group, and then when I pass the picture around, who's the first person you look for? You, because you are the center of your world, you see? Now that's broken. We need to fix that. We can't leave that unfixed. It's like if something breaks in your car or your motorcycle, you have to fix it. So there's that part of us that's broken because we want to be the center of our universe, and I want to be the center of your universe too. Yeah. I'll let you be the center of my universe a little bit, but you've got to make sure that I'm the center of yours because I want to feel special. You see? I'm here to declare my independence. You see? So, I want my way. That's what independence means. I want things my way. But we learn again and again, or at least we experience, I don't know if we actually learn it, that you don't get your way in the material world, do you? You don't get your way. You may make some plan. It's like I'm trying to do some project right now, and I make a plan make some agreement. Okay, you're going to be there at 2 o'clock, yeah, and you're going to do this. Then you're going to come and take over what he did, and then so you're going to be there at 3, and then he comes at 4, and the whole thing works. But it doesn't, does it? You were a half hour late. He calls and said, well, the parts weren't delivered, so I can't. So I've got to call him and say, you've got to come tomorrow because he didn't, and that. So what happens now? I get angry. Isn't it? Is this just me, or does this happen to you too? I get angry. I'm thinking I want to do this. Well, I want to go to Navadvip and I need to buy some things for my apartment. I'm moving to Mayapur, and so I have to have this and that. And so I plan to go to this place and this place and this place. And I tell the Toto driver, do you know where this place is? Oh, yeah. Are you sure? Okay, because I don't know where it is, so I'm trusting. So here we go, and he's riding around, and then finally he's asking people. Wait a minute, I thought you said you knew where it was. So after about a half hour of this, I'm starting to get angry. It's 104 degrees. You know, I didn't have time for any prasadam lunch. You know, I'm not accomplishing what I wanted to do. So I'm getting angry, you see, because things aren't happening the way I want them to. So, and that's kind of normal for us to get angry when we're trying to do service for Krishna. So that's kind of normal. However, how we react and how we deal with that anger is very important. You see? It's just like the atheists. It's mentioned here in this verse that in this age, we get the atheists. Here comes Lord Śiva. This is the final act. Here comes Lord Śiva and the atheists. And the atheists are angry. It's easy to understand why they're angry, isn't it? Why, they've declared independence from Krishna. How could they? The material world is all there is, right? According to the atheists. The material world does not give you what you want. Things don't happen as you plan. So yes, they're angry. When they get upset at the Toto driver, they don't have a Krishna to turn to and say, Krishna, is this a test? I'm trying to be a good devotee. I'm trying to employ Vaishnava etiquette. Please forgive me if I'm screaming at the Toto driver. Please forgive me, but I don't know what to do. I'm depending on you, Krishna. Well, the atheists, they don't have that. All they know is they're independent. There is no God. This world is all there is. And I want it to happen the way I want. And it's not. It doesn't. So they're angry. They're going to stay angry. How do we help them with their anger? How does an atheist without God, how does he feel anything but anger? How does he get a taste of something that will take care of this anger? He has nowhere to go except his own potency, his ability to create profit. And that's always a struggle. Perhaps his desire for fame. Well, that's kind of a struggle. Adoration. Why, somebody as wonderful as me should be adored. You should adore me. If you don't adore me, you're working against me, because you should see how adorable that I am. That makes me angry. And distinction. Why, I do that real well. And when I played my guitar and everyone had their applause at the end, I don't think you applauded enough. You were not enthusiastic, and that makes me angry. If I'm all alone without Krishna, how can I not be angry? What is there to take away this anger? Huh? Maybe I get some fame and some profit and some distinction and adoration, but it's never going to be quite enough. It may last a while, but then I'll get bored and I'll need more. You see? So, this is our situation, those of us in the material world. And so, here we are in Kali Yuga. This is a very unfortunate time to be in the material world, right? I disagree. This is a very fortunate time. Because here comes Lord Chaitanya. Haribol! Yeah, give us a Haribol. Haribol! That's all you've got? Go, Ranga! Okay, that's better. Now you're enthusing me. Here comes Lord Chaitanya. And he says, look, I see all of this suffering. And I see all of you are over your head in sinful activities. Well, you have so much negative karma, you're never going to get out of this place. Why, every time you eat meat, you have to take birth and be killed as many times as there are hairs on that animal's body. You're never going to get out of this place. You have no hope. There's no hope. Except Lord Chaitanya says, hey, here's your get out of jail free card. Haribo. Take this holy name and walk out that door. I'm going to open the door to the prison, and you can walk right out with me and the Sankirtan party. We're going out the door. All of us are going. So Lord Chaitanya says, let's chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You don't need karmakanda. You don't need some magic, some tapasya, some penance, other than just chanting the holy name. That erases all of your problems. It cures your desire for independence because it will give you service to Krishna. The result of chanting the holy name, you're asking for service, right? So then Krishna answers the prayer of chanting Hare Krishna by giving you service. So that ceases your desire for independence. I'm depending on you, Krishna. I want to serve you. I chant your names constantly. I want to serve you constantly. I just forgot my self-interest. You see, so the holy name works like that. So this is a very fortunate time. We're lucky people. Sometimes I have to remind myself, you're a lucky guy. Lucky, especially when I'm here in Mayapur. Especially when I'm around you. I say, wow, well, I'm a lucky guy. You know? Like just to walk across this campus. How many living entities, how many human beings get the opportunity to walk in the Dham? Why, every step is a dance. Even when you're sleeping, it's considered paying dandavats. Everything you do, if you have some thought of Krishna, at least, is going to give you great advancement. So we're very fortunate. We're in the final act, but we're not affected by any of this. Yeah, there's going to be angry atheists. We can deal with that, though, can't we? We can handle that. Because we may get angry from time to time, but we deal with it. We deal with it. Being a devotee doesn't mean you never, ever get angry. Krishna wanted Arjuna to get angry and go fight and kill. Did Srila Prabhupada ever get angry? Oh yeah. At us, because we were idiots, you know. We would do crazy things. So, and the atheists would upset him, you see. But he dealt with it, you see. And so do we. We deal with it by continuing our service. Maybe we get angry, we commit some offenses, we beg forgiveness. Please forgive me for my offenses. I mean that. Please forgive me for my offenses, because I know I commit offenses. I don't want to, although sometimes I think I do want to, because I'm angry. When we get angry, we lose a little bit of access to whatever intelligence we have, don't we? So we're all lucky. So, does anybody feel lucky? Then let's hear it. I'm lucky. All right. So I want to pause and see if there are any questions or comments. Yes?
Thank you, Jivananda Prabhu, for coming back to Mayapur and giving us your association. Such an enlivening class. My gratitude.
Thank you.
Prabhu, in the class you said at one point that we should be able to make mistakes. And I'm a little puzzled by that because, as you rightly said, we made one huge mistake. We left Krishna and we came here. So after making that huge mistake, why should we make any more mistakes? We should actually try not to make any more mistakes, and we should be scrambling to go back to Krishna. So can you explain what you mean when you said we should be able to make mistakes?
Well, if we're not able to make mistakes, then we're just robots. We're programmed to act in a certain way. But because we have that defect that we can make mistakes, then we get to have our own choice. That gives us free will. If we remove the ability to make a mistake, we take away so much of the ability to exercise free will. Because if I have a will that I want to be the center of attention and leave Krishna so that people will notice me and not him, well, that's exercising free will. But if I can't make that mistake, then I'm limited to be just like a robot. You see what I mean? So that allows me to exercise free will, even though it's the wrong thing. And it's just like, once I start to chant Hare Krishna and serve Lord Krishna and serve the assembled Vaishnavas, sometimes I make a mistake. We see people who decide, I'm going to go back into the material world. You see, I'm going to stop chanting and stop following the regulative principles, stop associating with the devotees. That's a big mistake. Typically when people do that, they come back. After they've been beaten and kicked by the material energy, they come back. But that was a mistake, you see. So
basically, because Krishna gives us free will, we have a choice how we use that free will.
Right.
But we should actually be choosing, I don't want to make any more mistakes, Krishna.
There you go. We're getting educated.
Okay.
From the pounding and the kicking of this material world. Some people refer to this as the school of hard knocks.
Right.
You've heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we are. We're in the school of hard knocks. That's why Krishna says, when you leave, you won't come back.
Right.
Prabhupada says, in one class, I heard him say that you can come back. It's not like when you get back home, back to Godhead, they close the door and you're a prisoner, you can never leave. No, you could leave if you wanted to, but you're not going to want to. You've learned from your mistakes.
Right.
You see? It's best if we can learn from others' mistakes.
Right.
Sometimes we have to learn from our mistakes.
But an intelligent person understands from the Shastra what is to be done and what is not to be done.
Right.
So then we avoid making mistakes.
Right.
And
precisely.
Then, okay, thank you.
Yeah. We should learn from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra what is a mistake and how to avoid it. Yeah. Good question.
Hare Krishna. This question reminded me of how my Guru Maharaj one time, he was saying that there was a drama which was composed by Subudhi Rai Prabhu. He is the disciple of Indradyumna Maharaj. They do Polish tour. So he made a drama which was very, very, it was satire about how devotees, sincere devotees, they try to serve Krishna and then they make a lot of mistakes that from material point of view it's like a disaster, but then because they're very surrendered, everything plays out. And Guru Maharaj was saying that everyone was rolling on the floor and laughing at it. Because, in the spiritual world, sometimes, like Krishna wants to come and see Srimati Radharani, then he climbs the tree and then Jatila comes out. It was a mistake. And then he's stuck in the tree whole night. So mistakes in the spiritual kind of like life, they become a part of the play, I guess. So like, I mean, we're not on that level yet at all, but it's nice to aspire.
Yeah, good point. We're going to make mistakes. When we come into this world, we have 4 defects. 4 defects. One of them is we make mistakes. Another one is we have a tendency to cheat. We have imperfect senses. We have a tendency to come under the influence of the material energy. With the influence of the material energy, Maya, our tendency to make mistakes and cheat with imperfect senses, how can we not make mistakes? You see? So Krishna may allow us this liberty of making our mistake, but if you're sincerely committed to serving Guru and Krishna and the assembled devotees, if you have a commitment to spreading Lord Chaitanya's movement, you're going to make mistakes. We may not notice, and we might, but we may not notice that Krishna is tidying things up for you. You made a mistake, but he kind of makes it okay. You may even realize that was a big mistake, but wow, it worked out. How did that work out? So it's like a parent. When you have a small child, the child is thinking, like if you're teaching the child how to ride a bicycle, the child may be thinking, oh look, here I am, I'm riding the bicycle. And really Daddy is holding the bicycle up. You know? Daddy is walking behind, holding the bicycle. Have you seen that? The child is riding, Daddy is holding it, or mother are holding the bicycle up. Sometimes the child sees his friends, he says, hey, look at me, I'm riding a bicycle. It's just Daddy holding it up. Well, that's us. We're trying to do devotional service. We may not be very good at it, but Krishna's holding us up, you see, due to your level of sincerity. If you're sincere in your desire to serve Guru and Krishna, the only source of power, Krishna, is going to empower you to do just that. Your potency, your ability is not going to come anywhere else. Krishna says, I am the ability in man and woman. I am ability. If you have any ability, that is Krishna. Now, if you're independent and self-interested, you may think it's your ability, right? Why, just see how well I did that. Instead of, oh, thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much for your empowerment. So, good question. Good comment. I think he was first. Let me do him and then I'll get you, okay?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Dharma pranams. Prabhu, your class was very nice and I couldn't understand very nicely. So, Prabhuji, like this, you told that atheists always get angry. So, this is also called, everyone gets agitated, right, Prabhuji? So, is that atheists get more agitated when they are not with Krishna?
Good question. From my experience, it seems like they do. Because their goals are self-gratification. They're not really trying to gratify God. There is no God. I'm an atheist, no God. And I might try to gratify others because they may gratify me if I gratify them, you see. So things just don't work out in the material world. They just don't. The material world doesn't work. So therefore there's anger. The atheist doesn't say, oh, Krishna, wait a minute, this is a test. You're testing me. You're trying to see if I'm going to surrender to you and remember you. The magnificent thing about being a devotee of Krishna is even a test. When it seems like nothing is working, that can remind you of Krishna. Oh, wait a minute. This is you, Krishna. You're testing. How will I react? The atheist doesn't have that. When things aren't going his way and he's angry, it's his fault. You ever noticed a lot of people, maybe even us, when something goes wrong, we look for somebody to blame? This would have worked, but she didn't do her part. Well, did you tell her what? Well, I mean, she should have known. Do I have to do everything? You see? I need it to be somebody else's fault because it's not making me look good. You see, I'm not very distinguished right now. It's going to hurt my fame. It might hurt my profit. It might hurt my adoration. So this is attacking my very reason for being in the material world. My gratification from manipulating and exploiting the material energy and all the living entities that I come in contact with. So yeah, I'm angry. There is no God. So how do I get satisfied? Maybe some intoxication. That seems to be what a lot of people, atheistic types of people, that's what they go for. A little bit of intoxication. You know, in the West, in the United States, they have generally at 5 o'clock, from 5 to 7, they have what's called happy hour. Do they do that in India? They have bars where you go to, and it's happy hour. The drinks are cheaper. So you've worked hard all day, you've fought traffic, and you're angry. Nothing's going your way, but I'm going to go to the bar, and I'm going to drink, and I'm going to get happy. And maybe they feel a little happy, but after a while, they're intoxicated, and they're angry again, and they want to fight. I don't know if you know that. People, when they get intoxicated, they often want to fight.
There is too much in Tamil Nadu, Puruji.
Yeah. So you can see the danger in that world without Krishna, without the consciousness of Krishna. You have no shelter except intoxication? That's pretty sad. So it's our duty to help them, give them we need to throw them a life preserver. You know, they're drowning. We need to throw them a rope. Here, come out. Come out of Maya. Good question. Did that answer it?
I have a second question.
Yeah.
Lord Krishna, He's very merciful that I want to share my love with you so that I could get relief. But why are we getting obstacles, Prabhuji? Like, Krishna only created this illusion.
Why are we getting obstacles? Because Krishna wants you to demonstrate your love. And so you say you love me and you're going to demonstrate. So I'm Krishna. I want to know how much you love me. Doesn't Krishna have that right? How much do you love me? As long as we're doing this, you're showing me how much you love me. I want to know how much. How much of a taste do I get from your love? That's legitimate. It's just like, I use this example a lot. Krishna lured the gopis into the forest, right? At night. So he's there with the gopis in the forest at night. And then he disappears. Well, that's giving them a lot of distress. You have to turn it on.
Well, is it a test for them or something?
It's a test, it's an opportunity for them to show how much they truly love Krishna. So what did the gopis do? Krishna disappears in the forest at night. It was so dark they couldn't even see. So they made their way back to the Jamuna and they started talking about Krishna. How wonderful he is. They started imitating Krishna. They're remembering Krishna. They're upset that he's not here, but isn't he sweet? He's so wonderful. I wish he was here right now. Why, if Krishna were here right now, he'd probably be joking with me. Krishna would dance with me if he were here. And they would imitate Krishna dancing, you see. So Krishna gets to see this. He gets to taste their love. He's giving them stress. Stress is the test of a relationship.
So Krishna needs our attention, Prabhuji?
Huh?
So Krishna needs our attention?
He doesn't need anything, but he wants it. That's sweet. When he sees you demonstrate how much you love him, he gets to taste your love. That's what he wants. He gets to taste your love. And the more intense your love, the more intense the taste is that he gets.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was
Jai, Hare Krishna.
eye-opener for me.
Good questions. All right, I think Prabhu back here, and then we might want to wrap it up, unless there's in the back, I think. No? Okay. Ah, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I was thinking if everyone here has to use the 9 gates except Krishna.
What's the question?
If everyone here has to use the 9 gates except Krishna, then Krishna is the only one that can be without fault.
Krishna's the only one that can what?
Be without fault.
Be without fault. Yes, Krishna is faultless. How can we use the 9 gates to serve Krishna? Is that the question? Leave the mic on so he can... Okay. I can't...
Yes, we're going to use, as long as we're using the 9 gates, we're going to commit fault.
Speak into the microphone. Leave it on and... Okay.
So, if we are using the 9 gates, we are going to commit faults. But Krishna is faultless. That is his question. So,
The 9 gates are faults?
if we are using the 9 gates, that's why there is fault. He's saying like that.
Yeah, I don't think I understand. We can use the eyes to see Krishna, to see the deity of Krishna, the picture of Krishna, to see the devotees of Krishna. We can use the ears to hear Krishna Katha, Srimad Bhagavatam. We can hear the chanting of the holy name. We can use our sense of touch by embracing the bodies of the devotees. You see? Sense of taste by tasting Krishna prasadam. Our smell, it's always very nice to smell the incense offered to Krishna, the flowers offered to Krishna. It's always nice to smell prasadam. I remember when I first went into a temple back in the early 70s, the first thing I noticed is, what's that smell? Isn't it? When you first go in, first time, what is that? You smell the prasadam being cooked, the remnants of the incense, the agarbatti that was offered. That whole thing hits you, and you get like a sense overload. Starting with the sense of smell was for me. And then when I saw the deities, I was kind of overwhelmed. I heard the chanting, then I heard the class, the katha, and I tasted the prasadam. The devotees are giving an embrace. You get the whole, so we start to use all of our senses. For the first time, we get to use our senses properly. When the devotee uses his senses, he uses his senses like a human being uses senses. Otherwise, it's animalistic the way we use our senses. Just eating, sleeping, mating, defending. The human being has the opportunity to use the senses in relationship to devotional service. And everything around us, after some time, will remind us of Krishna. If we're conscious of Krishna, the more conscious we are of Krishna, the more things that we see and experience, smell, taste, hear, are going to remind us of Krishna. So, I don't know if that's a good answer, but thank you for your question. Thank you so much. All right, thank you all so much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.